I keep hearing about these people I don't know talking about how they plan on kneeling when they go back to playing a sport I don't watch. But it makes me wonder. I don't know who these people are. I don't know. There was the Browns player, I guess, a quarterback or something. They're like, will you kneel when NFL restarts? And he's like, yes, I will. And I'm like, I don't know who you are and I don't watch this stuff. But I have to imagine that leftists, socialist revolutionaries don't watch it either. And I'd be willing to bet that, my assumption about the average, person who watches football, regular dude, maybe he's got a trade, maybe he, does masonry, carpentry, plumbing, some kind of trade job, or maybe even works in an office, mid-level, and likes cracking open a beer with his buddies, sitting down, ordering some wings and some pizza, putting his feet up and checking out the game. I'm pretty sure most of them don't care about whether or not you are kneeling for the national anthem, but I'll tell you this, you know who's not watching football? And this is just my assumption, but I'm willing to bet it's not Antifa. I'm willing to bet it's not Black Lives Matter urban liberals who have thick black frame glasses and button-up shirts who go to their midtown offices in Manhattan and complain about the racial inequities of chess or something. Well, the white pieces go first and that shouldn't be allowed. Let me write a 500-word essay real quick. I don't think anybody cares. I don't think those people care. But that's who's being pandered to. I'd imagine that on the other stereotypical end, I can just look at any beer commercial and be like, that's probably who watches football. Which brings me to this story. ESPN hits all-time 41-year ratings low as woke center on steroids takes over. Apparently, I'm not the only one who's noticed this, that they keep trying to inject politics in literally a show where you watch people. I mean, a show as in on TV, where people talk about a game where people try to get one ball from one side to the other side, be it basketball or soccer or football or rugby or whatever, or maybe even you're talking about hockey, get the puck from this one to that one and put it in a little hole. Sports, I like sports. I like skateboarding. That's my sport. And you know what? The last thing I care about when I'm watching sports is whether or not they're adequately adhering to some kind of social justice narrative. There have been a few high-profile skateboarding outlets that have really laid on the pandering, but I just ignore it. You know why? Because the Barracks, for instance, you may not be familiar. The Barracks is one of the most popular skate parks and skate websites and digital producers, YouTube channels, whatever you want to call it. They make skate videos. People go to the skate park, they skate there. It's fun to watch. Well, here's what they did. I actually like this, by the way. They have done a series of clips on Instagram where it shows high profile, really great professional skateboarders who happen to be black. And guess what? You know why that's fine by me? Because they just showed me a clip of some dude doing an awesome skateboarding maneuver. And I'm like, man, that guy is cool. That's really cool. Awesome. And then I keep scrolling. That's all I get. What do you get from this stuff? But will you take a knee before you do this 360 flip crooked grind down a 10-stair hubba? Okay, maybe that went over your head, skateboarding lingo. But if they started putting up clips where instead of just showing tricks, it was someone pandering to me about racial issues, I'd be like, dude, I'm not going to follow this. I'm going to unfollow your channel. No, I think the Barracks is doing something right. They want to address issues. They want to highlight certain people, whatever. That's fine. I'm all about the skateboarding. Show me the skateboarding. I'm down to watch anybody skate. You want to give me a football show where you just start talking about police brutality? Hey, I'm going to turn it off. I don't watch football. But if I was going to turn on something like the Dew Tour or Street League skateboarding, those are big events, or the X Games, you might be familiar with that. And instead of showing me the dude doing the first ever 1260 on the mega ramp, you showed me a guy arguing about Black Lives Matter, I would just turn it off. Not because I don't not because I personally have anything against you, not because I think the arguments are wrong, but it's because I want to watch my sport. All right, so I can't tell you what someone who likes football is going to think because I don't play football, but I imagine there's something similar there. When I watch skateboarding or other sports, I like BMX too, and I'll watch some scootering for sure because they're similar trick lines and it's a similar concept. I just want to watch the action. I want to watch someone doing something cool, doing a backflip, and then the scooters flipping around all crazy. I don't care what it is. I like watching these kinds of sports, individual, acrobatic. What are the action sports they call them? Let's read this story. They say this. On Wednesday, ESPN studio programming, which has become ESPN's woke center on steroids 24/7, hit a 41-year ratings low. That is the entire history of the network existing It has never had lower overall studio ratings than it did this week. The network, which has become more left-wing than MSNBC and CNN combined over the past several weeks, has completely abandoned sports coverage. The result? Viewers, many of whom were willing to watch the channel even during a pandemic disaster with limited sports to consume, have abandoned it in droves. How bad is it? How bad was it? We are talking full-on crisis mode level of awfulness. Here's a quote. Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's not. They say, First Take was the highest rated ESPN studio show all day, posting just 211,000 viewers. That was the 93rd highest rated program on cable. Putting those numbers into context, compared to other shows airing the same day on cable, Nick Cannon's Wild and Out 15 on VH1 had 50% more viewership than ESPN's top show, Smuggler's Secret Stash. The National Geographic doubled First Take. Not to be outdone, Craig of the Creek on the Cartoon Network posted 200,000 more viewers. Say it ain't so, ESPN. What are you doing? Dude, wow. My ratings, I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but I get 10 times those viewers. I think I've been averaging like 1.9, almost 2 million views per day on my content. You know why? It's not because people want the politics or anything. It's because people are coming to watch what they want to watch. Now, let me tell you something. We did over on the I'll break this down for you. Timcast IRL, my nightly live show with my buddy Adam and Lydia. Buddies Adam and Lydia. We talked about PlayStation 5. Now, normally we do culture commentary, politics, and pop culture stuff, all right? It's similar to what I talk about, but more culturally. So sometimes we talk about werewolves and UFOs. Well, we did a segment on the release of the PlayStation 5, some of their titles, and some of the hardware. And guess what? Didn't do that well. Yeah, we didn't get a whole lot of views. I think it was like 30, 40,000. Hey, not bad. You know, for the channel, it's relatively new. But we've been getting like 100, 200K a lot of these videos. Now, we know why the views were low. Because we don't usually talk about video game hardware release stuff like that. But we wanted to because it was something we wanted to talk about. The point is, when people go to ESPN and you're handed far left politics, they just click off. And when people come to the Culture Commentary Show and they get PlayStation release dates, they say, I'll come back after you're done because I don't want to watch that stuff. I respect that. I understand. Maybe ESPN should get back to doing sports. Otherwise, why would someone watch them for politics? Let me explain something to you, ESPN. If somebody wants to watch MSNBC, they'll just turn it on. Why am I going to watch Sports Center for politics when Rachel Maddow can give me the rundown on Russiagate conspiracy theories? Or Tucker Carlson can talk about the Chaz, the Chaz U.S. border. These people, it would be like a Chinese food restaurant trying to make ice cream. Well, look, you might make ice cream. It might be okay, but I'm not going to go to your store and expect to find it there. And if I show up to a Chinese food restaurant and you're not serving Chinese food, I'm going to leave. Apparently, they haven't learned that lesson. It's called business. They say even Jay Leno's Garage soundly defeated First Take. So did something called Ant Anstead Master Mechanic on a channel called Motor Trend, which I didn't even know was a cable channel, much less a show. They say, consider these studio show numbers from Wednesday. Get Up had just 136,000. Yeah. Okay, we get it. He says the highest rated Sports Center all day had just 168,000 viewers, the lowest rated I've ever seen for Sports Center as well. NBA, The Jump, had only 112,000 viewers, and that's when the NBA finally had news about returning to play. And these were just the shows that it rated. It was likely worse for the other studio shows, which didn't even make it in the top 150 cable shows. How do we know this? Because all of ESPN studio programming has hit all-time lows over the past 2 weeks. So yeah, we get it. They say this. It's no surprise. Ratings have been down across the board for sports programming without sports, but not like this, not even close. On Wednesday, FS1's Race Hub was the highest rated sports studio show by a massive amount, posting 324,000 viewers. Race Hub has never crushed ESPN programming like this before. So why does this matter? Because it's an ominous sign for sports ratings to be tanking as sports prepare to return to play. There are many serious things going on in our country right now, and the vast majority of sports fans know where to find news about serious things going on in the world. That's why cable news ratings have skyrocketed. But sports fans don't want their sports commentators to be weighing in on non-sports news on sports networks. I completely agree. Yet here we are, right back where we were several years ago when Caitlyn Jenner was getting an SP on ESPN. Woke center fails every time ESPN embraces it. But here we go again. ESPN has leaned right into woke center, this time on steroids. And the business has collapsed unlike anything we've ever seen in the history of the network. Jay Leno's Garage on CNBC outrated every studio program on ESPN. How much worse can it get? Just depends on how much more woke center we get. I bring you now to the upcoming return of the NFL or whatever they plan on doing. When all of these players start taking knees, and then the commentators during the game are saying, well, look at this, protest, protest, protest. How many people are going to be like, click? Some people I've heard said, I just mute it and I'll watch the sports, I'll watch the game. And that's fair. If I was watching skateboarding and they started talking about nonsense, I'd just mute it, watch the backflip and carry on. But how many more people are going to be like, please stop. I go to sports to get away from politics, man. I don't want to get your politics on my sports. Now, look, I feel that way even about the barracks. Okay, this is a skateboarding on Instagram. You follow him. And I'll be watching the videos and I'll roll my eyes and I'm like, look, man, I get it, dude. At a certain point, the messages I just ignore and I'll just watch the skateboarding. But it is getting a bit tiring. I do politics all day, every day. I get a very brief period where I got to do some other things. Maybe play some video games, not really all that much. Maybe I'll go skateboarding out in the yard and just forget about it. The last thing I need is to go out and skateboard and have somebody pander to me about politics. All right. We need time off. We'll see how things play out. The big question I have, I guess, is if Trump is saying he doesn't want to watch this stuff, how many people are going to say the same thing? And will the ratings tank for Major League Sports? Are they destroying their own industry? It looks like it. I got one more segment coming up for you in a few minutes. Stick around, and I will see you all shortly.